not yours?
Never mind. Here we go. All right. Here it is, everybody. We're in studio, and joining us on the Lawson's Chip Dip Hotline is Bret Ernst from Ohio.
That's right, buddy. Your home state.
Sounds so excited about it, too. Buddy, how is Ohio?
It's good, man. I was ready for you guys 3 hours ago, but apparently Chad doesn't know shit about the time differences.
Yeah, I screwed that up. I for some reason I thought it was 3. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. You always got to put it in Eastern Standard Time.
You're only from here, Chad.
I forgot. You know, we travel so much. I was just in Omaha, so I'm all screwed up.
Yeah, where'd you travel from? Your apartment to the podcast studio?
Yeah, that's... So how do you know, Matt, how do you know Bret?
I worked down in the La Jolla Comedy Store for years. I was like a bartender, bar back, door guy, whatever the fuck. And Bret came down early on when I started there. So, I don't know, I saw Bret's act for like 5-6 years, hung out. Took him to radio, took him to TV. That was my job, baby.
I was going to say, you were manager for a while.
No, I was never manager. I never took the title because they seemed to fuck over anybody that wanted the title. So I was like, look, I'm just a comic, and I will help you any which way I can.
Yeah, he used to take me to the press and shit like that.
Yeah, waking up early.
Wait a minute, Chad. The question is, how do you know Matt? That's the question.
We all know each other somehow, right?
Yeah, I know Chad through Tripoli.
Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. Working out the family tree.
How do you know Pete?
Yeah, I just came to Koreatown on a hunch. I don't know how I even found this place. Yeah.
When did you and Bret meet, Pete?
We met in the early 2000s. I had Beecher's Madhouse at the Hard Rock Hotel.
Oh, the legendary shows.
Yeah, we were doing it in the Joint, and then Bret, that was probably like when I met you, man. That was probably like 2004 or 5, something like that. It was early 2000s.
It was early, man.
I remember, dude.
I was only in LA for 6 years at the time.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how I know Bret, man.
Yeah,
and we just locked eyebrows, and that was it.
Our tricep hair tried to kiss.
Yeah, it was like how in Avatar, it just sort of our tricep hair just sort of
the tails combined thing.
Yes, exactly.
And you're in sync at that point.
Exactly.
It's a weird visual.
Yeah. It was just based on cologne and creatine. So it was a good relationship.
And then
start.
me and Pete became really good friends, and then we co-hosted a show together, and he stole it from me.
He stole the show?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, it was my master plan. What I did was I had Bret. I made the decision to move him to Ohio.
Yeah.
It's weird. He helped me find the house. And everything.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah, I'm just sending him Zillow links. Just trying to get him out of LA as soon as possible. I had him fall in love with his wife. It was a whole thing. It was very, very, it was very complex.
It was a 16-year plan in the making before they even were podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. This is a real takedown. I took him down, guys.
God, you're smart.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong business.
Real smart.
You should be Putin in some other country, just pulling the strings.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm a puppet master. It hit too close to home for Bret. He's like, But buddy, but I mean that's how I know Bret, and we have the You're on the List podcast, and it's just different, because Bret's in Ohio and stuff.
Yeah.
And we try to do the Skype-in calls, and it was brutal times.
Apparently
I don't know how Owen Benjamin is able to broadcast from his compound in Washington State with such clarity. And you're in Akron, Ohio, and it's like you might as well be, in war-torn Syria, like Richard Engel. He's some war correspondent reporting live from the fucking Ruby Tuesday.
Hasn't reached out here yet.
Yeah.
The tech hasn't reached out here yet.
No, I've had the opportunity. Go ahead, Bret.
I'm on dial-up right now.
I actually had the opportunity to go to Bret's house in Ohio, and it's so funny to see him in that neighborhood. He looks like he's in the witness relocation program.
Yeah.
He doesn't belong. He's talking to his neighbors like he's normal.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone, when they see Bret, they play that that Ray Liotta, voiceover from Goodfellas in their head.
Yeah.
They just see that guy.
Now he's just a schnook like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. ketchup on his
weird,
fucking
though,
spaghetti.
man, how like so responsible some of these people are. Like, there's a kid that I know at the gym. He's like 30, maybe, and he's got kids and a house and shit. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, go live, man. Go, you know what I mean? Go to jail. Go get arrested. Go fucking.
Yeah. It's like, why do you have a successful business at 30, you dummy?
Just moving, completely disruptive.
Go to the strip club and get jerked off by a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Mom.
What are you
That's what
doing?
you need to be doing.
Yeah, you're supposed to be doing that
Idiot.
before you launch a business and a family, you dummy.
with your fucking retirement plan, asshole.
What are you saving? You got a 401k. Are you matching a 401k right now? Are you matching your employer's 401k right now? What are you doing?
This fucking
That's
guy
insane.
needs health insurance.
He color coats his
Sure,
file
pal.
cabinets. Come on, guys. Let's figure it out, dude.
And if you follow Bret on Instagram, he's like feeding birds. He has like a bird feeder now.
He's like Mike Tyson. He's on a roof with a cage of pigeons, just trying to become one with nature and himself. Yeah.
Nah, man, dude, these are all the people the things I got in my yard. I got 2 bunnies. I got 3 chipmunks, some squirrels. I got a whole shit ton of birds. But the fucking squirrel keeps housing the food, man.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, these are animals in nature, right? You don't have these. You don't have them like in cages, right? You're not keeping squirrels, are you? Are you keeping bunnies?
No, they're in my yard though, man.
Okay, that's fine. That's acceptable.
What's messed up is that like I got a new grill put in and I got a gas line. So the chipmunk is near the grill and I'm thinking he might eat the line or something. So I called the exterminator and I said, hey man, I got. What are we going to do? He came out. He had this trap that, like, he's going to kill the chipmunk. And he's a cute chipmunk. So I just said, nah, man, we can't. I'll just let him live. The chipmunk had no idea how close he was.
See, that's the thing. That's crazy. So you didn't pull the trigger on the chipmunk, right?
No, I felt bad.
Did you let your wife know how close the chipmunk came? Like, do you let her know when things like this happen? Like when you're thinking about taking out an animal, did you share that with your wife?
Was like, I was gonna catch and release him.
Yeah. Dude, even with check this out. I have and Bret, we've talked about this before. I have a garden in front of like right outside my place. Mm-hmm. We have like flowers and we grow some food, whatever. I've had run-ins with slugs, right? Slugs.
Yeah.
Slugs and snails. They eat flowers, they eat the plants and shit like that.
Sure.
So in the beginning when this was happening, and I've been with my girl for a long time, she knew that this was and I was expressing my, problem with the slugs. And I was telling her in the beginning what I was doing was at night I would go out with a flashlight and I would like pick them up and I was relocating them, quote unquote, because she is a very animal rightsy person.
Right.
If she knew what I was doing to these slugs, if she
just vats of salt and lemon juice, just watching them boil,
just utter massacres at nighttime.
Now,
yeah,
Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she listens to the Chad Zumock podcast, but
she's a big fan. She wrote in actually.
Still though, that's serial killer behavior. Taking out cruelty on smaller animals.
Yeah, well, dude, they fuck with my garden. I have to take it. You have to take them out. There's no other way. They eat the flowers. They leave a mucus.
Yeah.
And they destroy plants.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of like you got to take care of it, right? There's different ways you can do it. You could put sort of like eggshells around the plants you want to protect because it kind of like cuts them open and stuff. I think that's cruel. So what I do is I pick them up and slam them down to the concrete.
We're the number one.
Not bad.
This is the number one gardening podcast out there right now.
Yeah.
No, going back to animal cruelty. When I was a teenager, I used to have a BB gun.
Yeah.
And I shot a bird once, and it didn't die, and I felt so bad. I tried to nurse it back to health. It didn't die for 2 weeks.
I thought you were gonna say, and that's when I had to finish him off, and then you just stand above the bird and just do a kill shot to the head.
No, I never did. I felt bad.
I had a fucking BB gun in 8th grade, me and a buddy, and there was a bunny sitting like 20 yards out, and I pumped it as many times as I could until you couldn't pump anymore, and I took a shot, and fucking thing hit it. It jumped 3 feet in the air, ran like 5 feet off to where we couldn't see it. It died. I accidentally shot it in the balls.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding. I saw that and I was like, you know what? I think I'm done shooting bunnies.
Yeah, that would be it. I retire.
Fucking dude, you just saw a huge blood patch where his balls were, and like, oh my, what a terrible way to die.
Have you ever been hunting,
Chad,
Bret?
You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
What? You never did that when you were younger?
Nah, I never killed the animal. The only thing I did was there was a rat in the pool where we lived in our apartment complex. It was like a shitty pool, and he was running around. And I shot it with a BB gun, but I felt bad afterwards. But I kept going, "You're a fucking rat," like joking around.
Yeah.
And I shot him in the back of the head, like playing around. And then they had to empty the pool out because the thing bled into the pool.
Well, that's what happens to rats.
And almost got us evicted. But I felt really bad that I killed a rat.
Dude, I love that. So you almost got evicted from a place that just has rats in the pool anyway. So it's like the bar is pretty. Bar's pretty low.
It's Florida for you.
No, like I think that's a sign of serial killers. Like if they like kill animals.
If you kill small animals,
when you're really young, if you do it, if that's your hobby,
right? Like mutilation, and or if you just find a dead animal and you start picking it apart and stuff like that.
So when I shot the bird, I felt bad. So I was like,
so you're probably not.
I'm in the clear.
Yeah,
I'm in the clear.
You did the right. It's not like you have a fucking track record. You're not Ernst instead of giving that fucking chipmunk a reprieve. You're out there murdering it as soon as it comes in the yard and then dissecting the fucking thing.
Yo, you should have recorded. You should have held a press conference, Bret, when you pardoned the chipmunk. You know what I mean? You should have made a big deal about it, like how the president does with turkeys.
I have some footage I was going to post, and then I just got caught up. But,
well, dude,
another sign? I was just watching this thing on like narcissists and psychopaths. And like a sign, it's just crazy how insane people are. But they become like, one of their signs is they become really good friends with you. Yeah. And then they steal your podcast.
I saw that Netflix special.
Yeah.
It was great.
Steal your
Making
podcast.
a podcast. It's gorgeous.
Making a podcast.
Yeah. Just stole the whole formula. They did buku numbers.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is Bret actually lives 10 minutes away where Jeffrey Dahmer grew up in Bath, Ohio.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. How this all ties back together.
Well, Dahmer, I mean, he fascinates me. I think, serial killers, I'm kind of into, it just sort of fascinates me,
Sure.
Murders and whatever. But Dahmer, I mean, that was just, that's something that, you couldn't even, I mean, because he was eating some of his guys, right? Wasn't he eating some of the butts and stuff?
Yeah.
He had an eyes, and he had like a kind of like a stew going at one point with different stuff in it.
Still, I don't know. Ed Gein turning shit into furniture, human skin, and you making ashtrays out of skulls and all that shit. Like basically going full Indian on these things and no part will go unused and just turning it all into furniture. That's fucked up. Or Gacy burying kids in the crawl space under his house.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they found just a bunch of kids in the crawl space.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube and watch Jeffrey Dahmer videos, which I've been known to do, there's conversations after he did all this, and he's sitting with his father, and he's just talking openly.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just like a normal activity. He's like, when I bashed the guy's head in.
One of the craziest parts of the Dahmer thing was the one guy, because basically he was keeping one guy in his place. Well, one guy was dead in his place. Yeah. And then he was drugging this one guy, and I think he either had sex with him already, but either way, he was going to kill him. He tried to kill him, and then he kind of like came back to life, he didn't like pull the, do it all the way. Anyway, this guy in a drugged up state winds up wiggling out of the fucking like window, and he runs down the street naked, and he's asking for help. He's like, "Someone help me!" The cops find him, and they're like, "Dude, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, please, my friend." And Dahmer comes out and pretends like he's like, "Oh, it's just like a lover's quarrel. Get back in the house, honey. No, come back in the house, whatever." The cops let him go, and then the dude goes back to the apartment with Dahmer, and then Dahmer eventually like kills him. And
Jesus
Christ! The guy was so close. He was so close.
Yeah.
And by the way, cops, if a naked man, you know what I mean, like just do the extra work on that one. Be like, you know what? Let me just check this out. Oh, that's the other thing. The cops walked him back, and then they poked around the apartment. They didn't realize there was a dead body in one of the bedrooms. So they actually stuck their head in and looked around. Dahmer said he thought that's when he thought the jig was up.
Of course.
He thought it was over.
The cops are in his apartment.
He couldn't believe that the cops left. He was like, I can't believe this. It was almost like another way.
You remember Andrew Cunanan, the guy that killed Versace?
Yeah.
I remember seeing an interview with him, and, they labeled him the gay serial killer because he was gay. And I remember his father on air just talking about, my kid's not gay.
Yeah.
Not worried.
Yeah,
about
the serial killer.
No, the gayness was the bigger issue.
Yeah.
It's like you got to nip that in the bud before it.
Problem with.
Yeah.
Is he a serial killer? Yeah, but he's not gay.
He's like, has he murdered?
Yeah.
Probably. Is he gay? No, not at all.
A string of murders across this country,
Yeah.
perhaps. I think what's weird about like Bundy, some of the names will continue on, but Dahmer now, for me and for generations to come forward, you need to change your name. That's a Hitler.
Yeah, that's it.
You just can't be like, I'm
can't
Dave
be a
Dahmer. Okay.
Dave Dahmer, dude.
I don't
forget
trust
it.
him.
Dahmer's done.
Yeah,
You'd
some
have
last
to
names are just a rap.
Yeah.
At least for a couple generations
Yeah.
until it fucking gets itself
Dude,
buried.
there's no coming back from Dahmer.
Yeah.
No,
Like that's
like Hitler's done.
Yeah,
Hitler's
yeah.
done.
There's no
Dahmer's
Hitlers.
tough. Like there's a few others.
you got to change that name.
What's his name? The one that they just had the Netflix series.
That
Bundy?
narrows it down.
Bundy.
The Bundy tapes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But that's another one where you look at it where you're like, dude, this guy, was responsible for all these murders in the Pacific Northwest, doesn't get caught. Then, by the time he escapes twice.
Yeah.
When they find him in Florida, like he kills a bunch of people, and then the cops, pick him up, and he won't give his name. And then you look at when it was on the Bundy tapes.
Yeah.
They show footage of the media at that time. And it's in Florida, and they just catch Bundy. He won't say who he is, and they're like, "This mystery man is in court today." And it's like, no one had phones or pictures. How did you not put two and two together?
He could never have done that in this day and age.
No way. With facial recognition
It's
alone.
fucking Florida. That's why.
But it's exactly. But dude, it's like the 70s. It's not that long ago where they had phones.
Yeah.
And you could have teletyped some description of this guy.
Yeah.
Is he kind of awkwardly good-looking guy that might be a crazy person? Does he look like that? Yeah. All right, so that might be the guy.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that
I love when people when the people do some shady shit, they go to Florida. Like OJ after he killed everybody, he's like, I'm going to Florida for things to cool off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, OJ's is because they can't seize your house in Florida.
Oh.
So if he goes there, he can protect more of his assets,
Yeah.
and that's why a lot of people move to Florida.
Yeah.
So
he was doing some Julian Assange type shit.
He already knew. Look, they took my Heismans from me. I went to jail for trying to steal back some of my memorabilia to sell that shit. So
go to Florida.
Go to Florida, man. We'll protect the crazies.
Brett, is that why you moved to Florida? You were just trying to lay low?
No. You know what's crazy too is
basically Brett's mom wanted to take him out of the hood in New Jersey, and so she just brought him to the hood in Florida. Yeah.
Well, I wish it was that easy. It was that simple. But what I was going to say about the going the other way, when people are talking about the common sense and the way it was back then, you also think about now we're regressing as well. Like everybody thinks every crime should have DNA, right? So you're getting people that, like that girl that killed her daughter in Orlando, that are getting off because they can't match DNA. That think DNA is the end all.
Yeah, Casey Anthony, yeah.
Where there's the overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence that nobody convicts on.
I think there's a name for it, Brett. It's some sort of it's kind of like the CSI effect or something. It's all these people have seen all of these fake crime shows on television, and they think that there's this, plethora of DNA evidence everywhere, and it's very common to have DNA everywhere, and all this trace evidence, and it's just not the case. It's becoming more and more common as time has gone on. But it's just not the case. Like, there's not always going to be DNA evidence.
Casey Anthony chick murdered her fucking
dude
kid and got off.
She did that shit.
I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
She's right now trying to.
Circumstantial evidence was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And she's trying to fund a movie now, explain how she didn't kill her kid. Did you see that?
Did she really?
Yeah, she's trying to make a movie.
Somebody will fund it.
Yeah.
She'll get it eventually. It just depends on what kind of budget we're talking about.
Right. So she literally killed her kid so she could party.
Yeah. She actually did kill her kid and then party afterwards. I mean, there's pictures of her partying when they know the kid is dead, and she's living. She's entering, big booty contests or whatever it was. Like, she was doing.
How come she didn't get the #1 party animal in Rolling Stone? How come
should have been
Kreischer did?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she killed her fucking kid. Kreischer never did that.
#1.
Yeah, that's hardcore, man.
She murdered her family to go out on. You know what I mean?
How bad do you want to party, motherfucker?
#1, Casey Anthony.
It'd sell a lot more issues.
Yeah.
Just put her right in.
Yeah.
Nobody can top the king.
Yeah.
How did she get off, by the way?
She had a pretty decent lawyer. From the beginning of that case, they really tried to frame the father. Basically, the whole case destroyed her family with her father. they framed it as if the father, Casey Anthony's father, the baby's grandfather, was very abusive to her, and also may have abused Kaylee as well. So it was they sort of this pattern of abuse, and then they had this. They basically, the way that they did it was they seeded doubt in this theory, this idea, this story that they told, that Kaylee was in the back pool area unattended. She drowned. And, the father, I think, the way the story goes, they tried to cover it up because they were so ashamed that the baby drowned. So basically, in her story, the dad didn't call 911 and be like, hey, the baby's unresponsive. In their story, the dad fucking just, like, hid the body.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they just created reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And
apparently was enough, unfortunately.
But that's not what happened. Even the father and the mother were like, no, she killed the kid. We're the one that called the cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. No, that's
legal expert.
yeah. That's yeah. I'm like a CNN legal. I'm Jeffrey Toobin. No, but that is that's what happened. So basically, when everything went down, she just kind of like aimed it at the dad and all that stuff. If you actually look at the evidence, it's like, I don't know how that jury went the other way with this, because it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear what happened. And then also afterwards, after she was acquitted, there were people that did more research on the computer that was taken from her house. And there were
like items on how to kill a baby.
There was programs available at the time after that she was acquitted. There was programs available to dig deeper into deleted files and deleted histories on the browsers that were still in that computer.
Yeah. And
they were able to dig it out. They were incriminating. It was all of the Google searches were about asphyxiation, body decomposition, and how all that works. Basically everything that she was searching. And they were able to match, they were able to tell you when those searches were actually made. And it was when she was in the house. The dad was at work. She was in the house.
Really?
But in her defense, when the trial was going on, she was like, that's my dad's computer, man. That's on him. That's on his computer. Because they did find some stuff. But the later stuff that they found out, all of the forensics that came out of the computer after the fact, after she was acquitted, was that much more damning. But, because of double jeopardy, they cannot charge her with that crime.
Oh.
So she like, it never looked better for her. It always looked worse and worse. As time went on and technology went on, it became more and more evident that this woman killed her kid.
Who knew you were such an expert?
Yeah, man.
Seriously, when you said, like, I'm really into serial killers.
Yeah.
That's why I had him as my co-host before he robbed me.
Look, you did the smart thing, it sounds like. You moved 2,000 miles away. If anybody's going to get away with a murder, it's probably your boy Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, all my Dateline research.
Pete, you're on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete would have had me murdered.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why Bret
started as a podcast.
One of the reasons why Bret called in today, because he's doing a big show at the Tangier in Akron. So all my Northeast Ohio listeners, go see Bret Ernst. June 15th, 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9:30 at the world-famous Tangier in Akron. It's an amazing venue. You go to BretErnst.com to pick up those tickets. Is it sold out yet, Bret?
No. The early show is at about 200 and something. I mean, it only seats 3 something. But the second show, man, we're thinking we might have to cancel it because of they double booked the venue. I don't know. We're trying to work through it. So
that's good. That's the most interesting plug for a show I've ever heard on a podcast.
I don't want people to buy tickets and then all of a sudden, we got to give them back. So
do you want people to buy tickets or not?
So really aim for that early show.
Yeah, pick up those last 100 or so.
Get to that early show.
Well, we're already, we're pretty much you know how this shit works.
Yeah. That's a great venue though, and I know it's you put on a good show. So,
dude, it is one of the best venues I honestly can say I've ever looked at. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's a classy place.
Pete, oh my God, Pete, you would love it, dude. It's like an old school theater, but it's just got that vibe to it, like the Sinatra era.
Yeah, you feel like Dean Martin should be performing there.
I like that.
Well, the name like Tangier.
So cool, man.
Yeah,
the Tangier, exactly.
It just seems like old Vegas. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it was right next to the Flamingo. Like, of course it was.
I think there was a Tangier.
There was a Tangier, but I
back
think it
in
was
the
with
day.
an S, wasn't it?
Right.
The Tangiers?
Yeah, Tangiers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
The venue's so cool. Steve Byrne jerks off to it. That's how.
But it's an old mob joint too, man. It's got some history to it.
Yeah, definitely. But
Back
yeah,
in the day.
was there mob in Akron?
Yeah,
Of course.
I mean, come on, man.
Of course there was mob in Akron.
Yeah.
Really?
Think of the stronghold in
talking about?
Chicago, and
What?
that's further west.
Yeah.
If you don't think Akron,
There was pretty
Cleveland,
much
they all
mob,
had.
mob in pretty much every major market that had any sort of industry that was.
Well,
could be
Youngstown,
corrupted.
Ohio was a big.
Anywhere you can get your beak wet, the mob was there. There's just go by that rule, and you're pretty safe in this life, especially
Yeah.
on the East Coast. Anything
Yeah,
east of
Youngstown-
fucking Mississippi.
We're explaining, Chad,
Youngstown-
like,
Yeah, it's,
how mobs work.
Look at you guys, you twiddle your thumbs there, like, fuck, did I grow up around mobsters? The fuck?
What about Youngstown, Brett?
No, Youngstown and Steubenville have a big population, but a tiny population. But Cleveland had a nice thing going over
Yeah,
there.
a healthy economy at one point.
Dude,
Well,
it's funny too, man. I don't know. I might become a Knights of Columbus over here.
Oh, you should, Brett. I want you to do all of that fucking shit, man. Become a member of the Elks Club or Knights of Columbus. Like, I want you to do.
yeah.
I want you to be in that world. So by the time I come and visit you, like, you're just immersed in that fucking. I want you to know veterans.
Yeah.
and not like our age veterans, like fucking like World War II
I want-
veterans. I want you to become friends with more veterans.
I want Shriners, and then he
Yeah,
wears the little
Shriners.
fez.
Yes.
And just has to walk around with those guys.
Yes.
You fully blended in with Ohio.
I want you.
I'm not joking, buddy. When you come out here, I'm going to take you for the best ice cream ever.
I can't wait, man. I can't
love
wait.
it. It's chipmunks and ice cream for you now.
I want Brett to be the Grand Marshal at the Columbus Day Parade because I'm sure they still have the Columbus Day Parade still out there.
I want him to wear a
You know what I
polo.
mean?
I want him to wear a polo that's tucked in. I want a beeper on his.
Yeah.
I just want him to look like some dad.
Yeah.
By the way, it is so much better. I actually just read an article that the bubonic plague was found in L.A. Enjoy it.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
only a matter of
exactly.
time till a
Later
pandemic
research.
really wipes out some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're a little too
Like,
packed in.
We're a little.
It's coming.
It's a little.
What's the plague?
No,
What?
when the zombie apocalypse happens, you can stay at my house.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the biggest threat now would be like a superbug because of the overuse of antibiotics in society. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they say. It's that these superbugs are kind of formed, and we're not prepared for it. Like it basically skips intensity.
They can mutate faster than
Then
we
we
can
can.
keep up.
Then we can.
We're in an arms race because we've overused it, and now one of them will take out a big swath of the population
Yeah.
if current trends keep going.
Are you serious?
So look out for that,
serious.
guys.
They're resistant to
fucking-
all.
That's real.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah, that's real.
Wow.
Man,
Unless we
we're
step up.
working in reverse here. It's like people aren't vaccinating their kids. There are people that legitimately think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
Okay,
people
we-
think that there's
we-
more people that think that the Earth is flat now than there was. I mean, obviously adjusted for population than there was in like the 1700s.
Yeah, but at the same time, how many of those people in the 1700s knew that theory?
Yeah, that's true. What, flat Earth?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm saying
yeah,
now
yeah,
because
yeah.
the information is disseminated more,
The internet.
more people, more idiots can grab onto
Right.
dipshit ideas like that,
Yeah.
or fucking all kinds of just random subterranean people, and you're like, shut the fuck up. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It's so, dude. There's
Dude,
nothing
look,
infuriates me
these
more than a
people-
flat earther.
We went from people now thinking the Earth is flat, not to vaccinate. We went from multiculturalism to cultural appropriation. You've got kids eating Tide Pods. It's
Yeah.
just like this whole regressive. It's almost like we got to a point in society, and then they're like, "All right, let's reverse engineer."
Yeah. Because people are taking pride in ignorance, which is like
Yeah.
something that never. It's like people are proud to not know certain things.
Don't forget the ice bucket challenge too. People were dumping water on their heads.
Never forget, guys. Never
I'm
forget.
sure there's somebody else trying to come out with their version of that. They made a lot of money.
No, but Brett's right. It's like it's scary, dude. I was talking to a girl the other day that I've known for a couple years, and I work with her a lot. And she's smart. Her mom is a doctor, and dad's a lawyer. They're educated people. And she was telling me that she is essentially a flat earther. And I said, why? You really don't understand how things work? Like, she's, well, I've never seen it. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, well, I've never been. I'm like, but you've never seen like pictures of the Earth? Well, I wasn't out there,
Yeah.
so I didn't see it with my own eyes. I'm like, if you do that logic, it's like it's going to take you forever to understand how the world works because you're going to have to see everything. You know what I mean? Like
I've seen
that's
some
crazy.
Some flat earthers that believe that the other planets are round because we can see that. We have empirical evidence of that, but they still believe
that
we're on a fucking disc. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
This only came to my attention when Kyrie Irving talked about it.
Really?
I swear to God, I knew nothing about any of that until
all
Kyrie,
the flat earthers.
There's a new movement. There's a new movement that I'm going to join out here. It's the anti-gravity movement. We think gravity isn't real.
Yeah.
So,
and
what's the explanation for us being like walking on the ground?
There's no such thing as gravity.
This is just how it is, man. We just this is how it is. There's no gravity.
I really believe social media is making this all like it's just projecting this out there for everybody at this point.
Oh, wait. I got one better for you, too. You have no knowledge of how social studies or civics work. So now you're having socialist movement, getting rid of the electoral college movement, popular vote movement. There's just no knowledge of any of this shit. It's almost like fifth grade science and government has never existed. Like they don't even teach common fucking sense anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basic shit that everybody learned. It's just so much misinformation. So that's going to be my new podcast that I have to start because my old one got taken from me.
What happened?
Dude, why do you keep saying that?
Brett, what happened to your old podcast?
What happened to you're on the list, dude? You moved and then we just stopped doing it because you didn't, I think what we're doing right now, I like better with you on the phone versus, because he couldn't handle we tried to do the Skyping in.
Oh, he doesn't know what that
and
is.
it's like, it was just brutal. It's like he was on like a 4-minute delay. It's just terrible. He's on a delay now over the phone.
I'm eating gummy bears.
Of course you are, buddy.
That's funny. No, going back to when we were talking about serial killers and all that, do you remember the story of the guy, Ariel Castro, had the 3 girls locked up in the house in Cleveland?
In Ohio. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it was in Cleveland, Ohio, and these girls were trapped in the house for over a decade.
Yeah.
And it was like a big national news story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Brett lives 40 minutes from that too.
That's crazy.
Still, though, in his defense, there was that one family that kept all their kids in cages, basically outside, not far from here.
Where was that?
Within an hour's drive, I believe, but less than that. I can't remember where.
Was it Riverside or?
It was somewhere not too far. And you're like,
yeah.
but they just kept their kids outside.
They were like
pens.
they basically enslaved the kids.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know about
numerous
They
kids.
had
numerous kids.
And somewhere in adulthood that never understood how you interact with people properly and whatever, they would be sort of caged, like they'd be handcuffed to their bedposts and a lot of times held, sort of against their will, basically.
How did they break this cage? I never heard of
One girl called 911. She was a young girl, and she said, "My parents abused me." And I don't know how she got the phone. Basically,
wow, and even knew to say that.
Yeah, she said, she goes, "I think we're being abused." She said that the house is filthy, and she basically said we're living in our own. Because she's saying over the 911 call, the woman says, "Well, what do you mean you're dirty?" She says, "I haven't, I've taken a shower maybe once in a year." They weren't taking care of these kids. They were more like animals to them.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was really brutal.
There's like 6, 7 kids.
When did this happen?
They got busted like a year or so ago.
Yeah, I think they're just now either finishing trial or going to trial.
No, I think they sentenced them. They're gone.
Oh, they're done?
Yeah, they're gone.
Wow, I'm the cool.
What makes me laugh though, Chad, is that you keep bringing up how close I am. Like, first of all, I live in Fairlawn, which is a nice area. And you keep saying, "Oh, people were kidnapped 5 years ago." You guys are in 1 minute away from that happening 5 times this week. You have airborne viruses that everybody thought was cured 400 years ago that has just reemerged. Enjoy that.
So yeah, for those that were just itching for it, it's the Turpin family, and they were sentenced to 25 years to life in prison because basically they were they were also torturing the kids.
Yeah,
there was like torture involved.
Yeah,
so,
holy shit.
Psychological, on top of the, physical,
some physical stuff.
Yeah,
like it was pretty crazy.
That's gonna be a Netflix documentary.
I love it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
should just be like a legal correspondent for every podcast.
Yeah,
it's great. You just got all this detail.
You're really good.
Yeah, by region no less too.
I love it,
dude.
Has
CNN gotten a hold of you? Anybody? Court TV.
I'm a huge fan of the first 48.
Not surprised.
Pete is Nancy Grace if she had a lot of hair and smelled amazing.
Well, I think a lot of it came back to my dad's a retired criminal court judge.
Is he really?
So when I grew up in the and he was always dealing with the big murders in town and the murders, the rapists, the big drug trials and stuff like that. There was always like big stuff. And there were, and some of the cases that would kind of come across as, through his courtroom, his docket,
there you go.
where some of them were, really made you think about the morality of how you try, whether it's a 15-year-old kid who gets charged as an adult because he murdered a 9-year-old,
right?
You know what I mean? Like really complex stuff where you kind of, so that always fascinated me. And
how come you never went down that road?
Because I didn't know how my dad would come home after work and then like sit down at dinner and be like, like he saw a lot of shit that day. You're dealing with the dregs of society. Yeah. You have to look at all the evidence. So if there's like, evidence of a kid getting abused and, pictures or whatever, like he sees all that shit.
How did he detach?
He went drinking right after work. He'd go to the office lounge in Tom's River.
Chad, I've known before Pete stole my podcast. I was very close and Pete's father is a judge. His brother is involved in like local politics.
Yeah, my brother.
We're like a big family down there.
Yeah.
And Pete is the overachiever in the family. He just hosted a hot body contest in Vegas, and he's 60 years old.
Yeah, my buddy works.
But he looks amazing.
My brother works for the new congressman in our 3rd district of New Jersey, so he's all into the politics.
Oh wow!
Like that,
Okay, what's he do for him?
Basically, he's kind of like the local. He's basically the sort of the chief of staff at the local level. So all of when a congressman goes to Washington, they go to Washington. You always got to maintain
your support system.
Your support system.
Re-election is not far off.
I know, dude. These guys get 2 years.
2 years.
It's like that's nothing.
It's how do you legislate when you're constantly out there campaigning? It doesn't make it.
I wish there was some sort of limit on that.
Yeah, Pete's brother helps the congressman get elected. Pete just came home at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday after a 5-minute open mic and was hammered.
I just like the slow roll each time into. Let me get this dig in about Pete, though. We all know it's coming. Let's wait for it and enjoy the shit out of this.
Yeah,
every time. I got another podcast because I
want to tell this story. I got to get going, but remember we were in San Francisco and we went out that night. I think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
We were performing at the Punchline. I'm going to abbreviate this story. So it's me, Pete, this kid DJ Sandu, and Carlos, and we go out. Pete's friends were in town from Vegas, so we went to this nightclub, and I mean we're hammered, okay? And the guy had an art museum on top of his nightclub, so he's giving us a personal tour. I'm drunk, and for some reason I asked the guy if the art is insured, and he said, of course. And I proceed to tell him that, hey, I could get some people, we could steal this art and you can get your money, right? Now, first of all, I don't know anybody that steals art. Pete is fucking wrecked out of his mind. I mean, I'm sure he might have been drinking more than drinking. I don't know. But I just know that it's 7 a.m. in the morning and me, Pete, and DJ are standing in front of the fucking Punchline. The sun is up and we're discussing how our political state is all wrong and, how we can't solve, how the government doesn't work. We're sitting there, and it just dawned on all of us. We're trying to decide America's problems after I just asked the guy if I could steal his art. You guys are zooted out of your fucking mind, and it's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's a fucking Wednesday.
Brett was putting together a team. What is going on?
Like a heist team?
Yeah,
His own Ocean's 11.
But we're going to solve America's problems. Oh, did I mention we're all in our 40s? Pete.
All right, Brent, when's your show again, and where can people find you? Because I know you got to go.
June 15th, Saturday, at the Tangier Theater. We have 2 shows, 7:30 and 9 o'clock, I believe.
Maybe not 9 o'clock, no.
Yeah. But go to what? Bret Ernst Live? Or, I'm sorry, BretErnst.com? With one T?
Go to BretErnst.com or BretComedy.com with one T. And you could get it. Go to my Instagram, all that stuff. But keep pushing it, Pete. I got press lined up this week. It's going to be a good time. Chad, you got the Cleveland area locked down. You got about 20 listeners. So hopefully we can get 1 ticket out of this.
Yeah, dude. That's the goal. If we can only get 1 ticket.
I got to go finish pressure cleaning my driveway.
No. That's amazing,
Listen,
dude. Do you have a power washer?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Oh, dude, there's a great subreddit on Reddit called Power Washing. I think it's called Power Washing Porn or something like that. And it's just video clips are just amazing. Power washing, when you see it done, is just so satisfying to see.
Sped up.
Yeah, sped up. Yeah.
You're just watching it done. It's like watching paint dry.
Like spaces. You don't get big spaces done, really.
Yeah.
So you got to go back and forth.
Yeah, that's fun, though.
My patio's brick, so there's some rivets in there where I keep getting dirt. I got to redo that.
Well, let's save the power washing for the next podcast. Yeah. This is exciting.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to power wash my patio.
Actually, I'm gonna teach you guys how to seal your driveway on the next episode. What's going on? Now listen, man. Hey, man, it was good to catch up. I'll see you guys later. Chad, love you. Peace.
Yeah, buddy.
Later, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
Let me know when we can do another episode of my old podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll do one this week, dude. I'll hit you up.
All right, love you guys.
All right, Bret Ernst, everybody. There he is.
Yeah, dude.
On the Lost and Shipped Up hotline.
He is. He's like the Goodfellas, like...
It's so funny seeing him in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it's like he lives in the suburbs.
Just power washing is...
When he talks about the power washing, and you can tell he's like, that area, I keep hitting it and it keeps digging out room. I'm going to have to replace that. Just the problems of home ownership.
He's a domesticated man now.
The patio never got clean. I needed the power washer.
Yeah.
The power washer can only reach certain tiles. There's certain corners you can't get to. I might have to replace them.
Your vision of khakis and a polo, I think that's going to happen.
Oh, he's totally going down
He's
that road.
already. You have fucking empathy for a chipmunk.
Yeah.
You're down that road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not long till pleats come back in the front of your khakis.
Exactly, dude. That's the sign right there. You get those pleats.
Did you ever see Kyle Dunnigan's Ray Liotta?
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
ridiculous. That dude is hilarious.
Yeah, those apps are funny.
Yeah. I can't wait for The Irishman. The Scorsese
the movie to come.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a great cast. And it's just been rumored for so long. They finally got the production. They got the budget behind. You're like, listen, I don't even give a shit what you guys make. The fact that you're putting all this talent together, I'm already on board.
Yeah,
of course.
I don't want to watch a trailer. I don't want to hear a breakdown what it is. I just want to see this fucking thing.
Yeah. Sebastian's in it.
Is he? He's got a part?
Yeah, he's I forgot he has like a pretty good role with Joe Pesci from when I
You don't know what the role is, though?
Let me look it up right now.
He was good in Green Book.
It's like, have you
see
seen
that?
this?
I didn't see that. He has a good
I'm
role.
doing the movie with. Did you know I'm doing the movie with the Scorsese? Have you seen these people? He did Goodfellas. Have you seen this? Joe Pesci. Do I look like a clown to you? Do you?
So what's this movie, Sebastian?
It's a movie about Irish people. It's called The Irishman.
Yeah. Okay. What do you play?
Yeah, what do you?
I play a guy who's not Irish. I play an Italian in a movie about the Irishman.
Is there anything that annoys you about people, or?
Have you seen people? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But Scorsese's great. He's great. Making the movie. He goes, action, then goes, cut. I look at him, I go, Marty, why would you do that? This was such a great, just keep shooting the movie.
Have you ever done that to Sebastian?
I think I've done it to him once or twice.
Does he like it?
Yeah, I mean, because one time one time I saw him coming out of his car in the Comedy Store in the parking lot, and I swear to God, I was there with Whitney and Brett was there and Steve Byrne. It was like some friends out in the parking lot, and he comes out and he's about to do his set, and he's like walking in. And I couldn't. It sound like that's the problem with Sebastian. It just sounds like a bit, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because
It's who he is.
And he just comes out and he goes, "Anybody got a tick?" My girlfriend's rolling. She's like, "That's great. Use it. Use it." We're like, "No, he's just asking for a tic." And by the way, who has Tic Tacs?
In this day and
Sebastian,
age.
yeah.
In this day and age.
Like, dude, that's a very niche person who happens to have Tic Tacs is an impulse buy.
I don't know what I like better though, Tic Tacs or if it's like Altoids.
Altoids, have you seen the Altoids?
The cinnamon.
It has a whole tin like I'm your grandmother with the Altoids. There's paper inside to protect the mints.
Juicy fruit.
Metal. What about the metals?
What about you can drop a hammer on it and protect the mints
Exactly.
with the Altoids?
That's a gentleman's mint, is what it sounds
Dude,
like.
my favorite when I do Sebastian's impressions, I always like to put him somewhere that he would never be. So my favorite place to put him is Bass Pro Shops.
So Sebastian's like, have you seen Bass Pro Shops? Have you seen these people? You open the door to go inside, now you're outside. There's a waterfall,
And just doing all the physical.
There's a waterfall in the distance. You got guys fly fishing. There's an archery class. You need a Sherpa to get to aisle 12.
Pete, you got to do a video of you doing Sebastian.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking, it'd go viral.
Yeah.
I just love that. That is a great. You have a handle on Sebastian. You open the doors. You're suddenly outdoors.
Yeah.
Joe, that is a turn of Sebastian like phrase.
Yeah.
Indoors. Now you're
Now
outdoors.
you're outdoors.
Right there. The look of befuddlement.
They sell camouflage underwear. What are you hiding?
By the way, he plays Joseph Crazy Joe Gallo in
That's
the new.
right.
He plays Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
He played Joey Gallo.
He plays Joey Gallo.
Yeah, according to
right.
IMDb, he's played.
Really?
Yeah, in The Irishman. Yeah, right there. Sebastian
Yeah, played Joey
Maniscalco.
They got what? Okay, Salerno.
Dude, look at everyone in this movie. Ray Romano.
That's
and I'm
right.
coming.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel, Joe Pesci, fucking Pacino, De Niro. Who else?
All the Italian actors you've ever seen.
Yeah, this is why I don't want to watch
If
a
you've
trailer.
ever seen all the extras from A Bronx Tale, and then this is your movie.
What about Sopranos?
The Sopranos, love that. It's a great story of my life.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're indoors.
I used to do a good Jim Florentine. I used to do Jim Florentine when we did morning radio. I'm like, nice, what's going on? It's stupid, come on.
That's a good Florentine.
It's pretty good. It's decent.
Yeah. I always see him coming
wrong
in and
with
out
you?
of. That's the only time I ever see him is coming in and out of like morning radio if we're in like the same place or if it's like what's it in like the Stress Factory in Jersey or something like that. Like he's always promoting something else.
Yeah.
I would always see him. And there's another comic that's in New York that I just always see at morning radio.
Yeah.
I like New Jersey 101.5. So funny, man.
Well, I want to wrap it with some comedy. We got to talk some comedy, just right.
Let's talk about
since
it.
we're on
dude.
the Comedy Pop-Up Network, which you can follow on Instagram, Twitter at Comedy Pop-Up. There's your plug.
Are you in any sort of major fucking problem this week with Twitter? Any wars? You know what I saw yesterday reminded me of you, or maybe this was this morning.
Oh, you closed the laptop. We just got serious. This is
got
over the
real.
top. The hat went backwards. Oh, shit.
No, you know what I saw? Because I follow Brady Matthews, and he got into something with Titus today.
About what?
Chris Titus? I was in a war with him.
I know. That's why. And it reminded me. I'm like, so is Titus just goes after? I'm trying to think what I saw. But I saw Brady Matthews said something, and then Titus did like kind of like the same thing he did to you, Chad. He was like, oh, well, you didn't expect me to write back, and now you're scared because you don't know me or whatever. But anyway. And
Titus
I was like,
blocked me.
all I'm saying is this, dude. Brady Matthews is a pretty chill individual.
I don't know Brady Matthews.
You don't know Brady?
No, what's his story?
I just don't feel like he's the person to be in beefs with.
Well, okay.
Is he a comedy store guy?
Yeah, he's a comedy store guy. He does. He's an artist. On top of that, and he looks like John Harbaugh.
Oh, okay. Here's everyone I
does-
got.
he does look
Basically,
like
there's
Harbaugh.
three things.
Here's everyone that has me blocked on Twitter. Ian Bagg, for some reason.
Oh, you have a list? Okay.
Yeah, Patton Oswald. My old coworker Alan Cox.
How do you see who blocked you?
Kelsey Cook.
I don't know unless he's screen capped
Chris
all these.
Titus. No, because like somebody like linked me to them. I go to their profile and it just says block, so I'd screen capture it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have your own album of,
Yeah,
of
exactly.
accounts that you're
Who's-
blocked from.
Just to stroll down memory lane every once again. Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, it's just
He
also
blocked me for that. Oh, that was a good day.
it's also good on the go. You know, if you want to tweet somebody, you're like, I can't do that. It's just good to just check in.
I probably blocked by more people. I just haven't figured it out yet. So, but as soon as I find out I'm blocked, I screen capture.
Look, odds are pretty safe, pretty good that you definitely do have at least. You just rattled through like 7 right there.
Yeah, right there. Like at Titus Nation has to be blocked for sure. So the Titus Nation does not like me.
Yeah, they're going back and forth, Brady Matthews and Titus, and I can't really tell what it's about, but they're in it, man.
How many deep is it?
This is like I think other people are getting involved. I mean, this is like 4 hours old, but it's moving fast. I think there's multiple little separate like little threads, but yeah, I mean. I don't like this because I just hate when comics are, and that's what scares me, I think, of social media is I just don't like, I just hate that engagement, that sort of negative, swiping back and forth, and what's real comedy, and that's comedy, bro. It's not comedy. It's like, what the fuck,
Well,
guys?
who wants to be comedy police?
Yeah.
That's the worst. I always hated that guy. They can't do that because that's shut up, man.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I just think it takes away from the fun.
I think comedy beefing is the new thing. Like it's almost like the West Coast, East Coast,
And people said that about you, about with the patent thing. Like, because I read some tweets after that happened. They were like, Chad Zumock, he's classic Chad, causing a problem to get followers.
Yeah.
He went after patent or something. I'm like, I don't think this is any of that, but.
Look, if it's a byproduct of it, so be it.
I blame Sam Tripoli. He's the one that put it in my head about Patton Oswalt. So I start paying attention to him.
Now, are you cool with Tripoli now or what?
No, we're fighting right now, actually.
Because of getting off the
being friends with Tripoli. Sometimes you fight.
Yeah. It's
the punch drunk stuff.
Yeah.
What, you don't think he had your back?
No, I think Sam threw me under the bus. I really do.
Couldn't you have just said to the people at
by the
All
way,
Things
he's a friend of
Comedy-
mine still.
I know, but couldn't you have just said to the guys at All Things Comedy, like, hey, you know what, guys, I'm going to disappear for a month. I'll be back in 4 weeks.
It was honestly handled so poorly from top to bottom. Everyone handled it poorly. It was a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
And none of it needed to happen. Everyone just got scared. It made me realize how scared everybody is out
I
here.
just love how, even in the podcast world, like there were like the higher ups at ATC were like, we got to get ahead of this one.
Yeah.
We'll fire him. We'll issue a statement, a tweet, and it's like, no, dude. If you just let it cool off for a week or two, everyone's gonna forget this shit, and we move on.
Yeah, we will. We will inevitably. Just I don't know. You want to nip everything in the bud before it becomes like a Chris Hardwick. Hey, you got to leave.
Right.
Television shows. You got to leave the head of the CEO of this network.
Right.
And other ones. I know of a couple others were just like, yeah, that dude was a little too inappropriate with a bunch of people. I don't know if Hardwick was.
I forgot about the Hardwick stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking of one guy in particular, but your listeners don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, you were definitely creepy as fuck, and you got caught. You deserved it.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Tripoli, fuck, man. One time I was walking from the kitchen in the store back through to go do a set in the OR, and he's having a discussion with Caparillo. And he pulls me, he's like,
that must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, well, no, it was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
But they were arguing about basketball. And Tripoli's like, hey, what do you side in this argument? And it was at that time, it was who do you extend for a max? It was Kobe or Duncan. And I can't remember where I think I landed on the side of Kobe because he was just coming fresh off of, second one or whatever. And Tripoli wanted Duncan and didn't talk to me for 6 weeks because I chose a side in an argument. I didn't know whose side was whose. He was just saying, of these two arguments, what do you choose? I was like, this one, and I gave my supporting reasons. And then I went and did my set. He didn't talk to me for 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
That's amazing.
That's Tripoli. It's just like,
he's a lunatic.
Fuck you. I was like, I didn't even know it was your argument, man. I just chose the one that I thought was more sound.
He's a fucking lunatic.
Now let me go fucking die in front of 5 drunk people.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you guys will get back because I mean, I've known Sam for so many years, and as you have as well, but and I'm sure as we all have, and I'm sure it'll work out.
Yeah,
but you're like the guy everyone likes, though.
Yeah,
you say that as like, God, I'm on the other side of that fence. What's that like? What's that like? I got pictures of people I beef with. You don't have that? That's not normal?
You don't have a gallery of people that blocked you?
Your own fucking album in there. All the people I got to fucking deal with in my life.
I've never seen anything like that.
No, who does that?
Yeah.
It's exhausting, like going to a comedy club and like looking around, like, oh fuck, I gotta go this way now. I don't want to.
Oh fuck, I can't use the bathroom for like 20 minutes, dude. Walk away. Well,
I think the key is, well, not the key, but I think a lot of us there's a lot of people that that people I think have a general good feeling about, and it's it's just not being an idiot.
Yeah.
I've been making money in show business for like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I learned pretty early on that like, it's you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to. It's not that you have to be this diplomatic person that's just constant bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just making sure that you just stay true to who you are and don't be a fucking dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, I'm not saying that you're a dick. I'm saying that there are some comics I think who are good at engaging in like a playful ball busting banter and whatever, and then there's some comics who do it and like put a little fucking sauce on it and it might offend a certain person.
Kevin Brennan.
Right, you know what I mean? and it just turns into this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And we're all independent contractors in art. There's no supervisor.
Yeah.
I can't be like, yo, we got to, send it to HR.
Call HR.
We got to get Zumock in a meeting with Tripoli and iron this thing out before, there's none of that. So we just do it in our own retarded ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's also more than likely you're a type of person that sometimes can take a second to process.
Yeah.
Whereas you and Tripoli and a few other guys I know are, more passionate,
Reactive,
more
like,
exactly,
quickly.
Yeah.
just in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
No, this is how I feel. And I'm more like that, where I was just like, I can take a step back and process what exactly you're saying.
Right.
But you see guys fly off the handle over nothing, and you're like, okay, well,
So what you're trying to say is you guys are both mature adults.
Right.
we're
right.
just different adults.
Yeah.
That's all. We're just different. Look, in a warrior society, you'd be more valued, more than likely.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, in a warrior society?
Yeah, if we keep regressing, then yes, we're gonna need you.
If we
Zumock.
go back into the post-apocalyptic,
Yeah,
you're
you're-
going to be aces.
You're on the front line, kid.
Dude, way to put a bow on it, everybody. That's that. Where are we at on time? Right there? Okay, let's plug some shit, you guys.
Plug it up.
You start with you, Matt, because you do a basketball podcast that I love.
That'll come out Thursday, Dropping Dimes. You can find it at Collider Sports. And then I don't know if I'll be on Sports Time on Friday this week, but then tomorrow the Top 10 comes out everywhere. If you want to follow that, it's a movie podcast. And
Is that Collider too?
No, that's independent.
Oh, okay.
We do that on our own.
That's that's big though. You guys sell out in cities, don't you?
Yeah, we've done in the past, like in 6 months, so we only started doing it, but we did LA, we did London, and we did 2 in Chicago. And then we're going to Houston and Toronto next. And then after that, probably, I don't know, New York, San Diego.
You guys got a good following too.
Yeah, we got a strong following.
That's awesome.
I mean, Australia's in the mix to potentially go. We do well with that podcast. People like other. I mean,
You just talk movies?
just talk movies. It's called the Top 10. So whatever. This week I can't spoil. So last week we did, I think, Will Smith for a Patreon topic. And then we just sit down. We come in. He brings his 10. I bring my 10, and then we just talk about the
Like
movies.
favorite
and figure
movie. Oh, so favorite movie.
of whatever it is.
Right.
Of whatever it is.
That's cool, dude.
So it could be martial arts. It could be this. But we've been doing it so long, you got to split the atoms.
So
it's like,
top 10 Will Smith movies.
Sure, but it's another week it could be like top 10 westerns from the 70s. Because we've done westerns, we've done variations on westerns so many
Dude, that's
times.
the thing with having, because you're on the list is essentially a top
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
show.
I saw that in the breakdown.
But
I was like, yeah, we do the same thing.
Yeah, but it's like you run out of lists. There's like,
You do.
There's only so much.
You got to keep splitting the atom. That's
Yeah,
what I call
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
getting finer and finer, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you could do like top 10 70s cop movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a great
cool.
list.
Yeah.
Name it, and it's in the mix. We've done 70s by year, so you can only pick like one per year.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you got to figure out what makes it. So if you get 2 different movies from 1 year, then whoever had it higher and that person's gets cut off, and you're like, fuck you, man. That's the best movie. Not even close to me. But it's just shit like that. So whatever.
Do you ever have a guest, or is it just you guys going back and forth?
No, we have guests.
Okay.
1-2 times a month, something like that.
All right.
And that's what's cool about those top 10 shows and like your show is like, because everyone has their own idea of what
Yeah.
the ranking of whatever is.
Yeah.
It's
You know what I mean?
arbitrary.
And we all have our different reasons for
Exactly.
it. You know what I mean? Like it's all, we did one where it was like the top 10 Schwarzenegger movies,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
And it's like, and you get into a debate of like, like for me, one of the most impactful movies for some reason was Commando.
See,
because
I'm on the opposite end.
See, yeah.
I don't like Commando. It's
Yeah.
one of his few from that period
Right,
where I'm
right.
like, it fucking sucks.
I had
It was always on HBO.
Dude,
let off some steam.
Let off
I'm
some
so-
steam,
I'm
Bennett.
so dead.
Bennett,
So
I
dead.
thought you were dead.
Yeah.
You thought wrong, Matrix. But dude,
By the way, Bennett played the bad guy in The Road Warrior.
Oh.
You know the guy with the mohawk and
Yeah.
the motorcycle guy?
Sure.
That was Bennett?
That was Bennett
Really?
in The Road Warrior, 1981.
No
yeah.
way.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I forgot the actor's name, but
Yeah.
it's a little side
Can't believe
note.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But my point is everyone has their different like reasons.
Oh, yeah.
For me, we had a copy of Commando that I recorded off HBO at the time, and there was a time where my house was getting worked on that we were we grew up in, and we didn't have cable for like several weeks, like months, and I would just watch this tape when I get home from school. I can do word for word Commando. So I have to me it's like my Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You do that every week. Your show for various things and on my show for movies. Yeah. You're just like, dude, I can't fight you, so that means Commando's making the list.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, and you're like, motherfucker, because it sounds like you're gonna have a top 3.
Try negotiating with Bret.
Oh,
I mean, it was like, forget it. There's a bunch of stuff that was gonna be on the list. I was like, all right, man, just to get this podcast done.
Yeah.
We'll put that at number 6.
I know we're wrapping up, but since we're on Commando, one of the things that bothers me to this day about Commando, and I'm sure you know, is when they wreck the yellow car.
The Porsche.
And then he drives away.
Both sides, and it's clean.
And it's clean. Right, exactly. It drives me insane.
Oh, what, you're looking for continuity errors in a movie where he throws saw blades at a guy and kills them?
Yeah.
You have trouble with continuity errors. Just saying, you gotta weigh out your priorities in this movie.
But yeah, that's one of the biggest mistakes of the movie was
it drives me crazy.
Yeah, they drive away with the Porsche. It's completely clean. It's brand new.
How did they overlook that?
Well, because when Matrix, commandeers a wrecked vehicle, it just clean. He's so powerful, it cleans up.
His energy, just the car goes, well, fuck yeah, let's do this.
By the way, did you see the new Rambo trailer?
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm all in.
Yeah,
really?
I'll show it to you when we.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Look, I like the last one where he was literally mowing people down with a gun.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many body parts are getting blown off. I was laughing because my brain couldn't process this amount of violence in any other way.
Yeah.
I just remember a dude was running and his leg got blown off and he does this weird little fucking cartwheel thing and I died laughing.
Dude, speaking of Commando in these movies, when I was younger and I look at Rambo and when Commando came out, I thought the people that were dying, like literally were like dying.
Yeah.
Like I thought the actors they were like, you know what? I'm like, I got this movie. I'll leave the money to the family. And they needed this. When I was young, I'm saying, and I was like, I swear to, I thought they were really. No one explained to me. I thought they just needed the work.
Oh my God!
I love it because in your scenario, basically, it's right before D-Day when they come through and be like, "Make sure to sign your life insurance contract so your family can get paid in the event of your death."
Imagine if you didn't sign the release.
Every day's shoot is just this fucking horror story. How bad you want that SAG card? Huh?
Look at my resume. It's like, well, you're gonna die tomorrow anyways. That's all good.
So you got that podcast. You got the sports podcast. What else?
In the sports podcast, just hit me up on Twitter. You can see everything else at Matt Knost, MATTKNOST.
Put that in the description. Pete, you still doing on the list since you took it from Brett?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing it, and then he was like, kind of, because I was doing it without him, and then he was like, no, I want to still be on the show, which I understand. And then, like I said, we tried to do the Skyping stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're at the All Things Comedy Studio. It's like they're running fibers in and out of there. It's not our end. It's not the connection there. It's
right.
Whatever he's working with there. So at his house. So he just needs to figure it out. So we're kind of at a crossroads, and I want to keep it going because we do have a cool, like, loyal, listenership, and you want to do it. And that's what's the crazy thing about podcasting is even if you have a listenership of like, let's say you have a listenership of like 800 people, right? Which is not a lot in podcasting, but whatever. If you have that group and like they faithfully like listen to every week and whatever, and you interact with them, like we interact a lot with our listeners through Twitter, private chats, and whatever. I do it like we do it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would do it just for our core couple thousand that we have,
right?
That are just like ride or die. Only because they actually like it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's sort of a crossroads. I want to keep it going. Either way, I'm going to be doing some other stuff, like some other side stuff for myself. So.
Sure.
But if you want to check me out, go to hairandteeth.com. It's hairandteeth.com.
That's funny.
I couldn't believe it was available. I called the guy. And I was like, can I get hairandteeth.com? And the guy was like, I'm like, is that available? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, really? And he's like,
hold on. You called the guy?
Yeah.
Who on a domain registry calls anyone? Why did you use?
I had to double check. I couldn't believe it was available. And I'm like, that URL is real and it's available. And he's like, yeah, why wouldn't it be available? Then I thought to myself, hairandteeth.com sounds like a pretty disgusting website. And I was like,
of course it does.
If you didn't know me, you know what I mean? Like, it's like...
It's memorable, though, so it's good.
Right, exactly.
But
that's why I got it, So go to hairandteeth.com. You can follow me at Pete Giovine on Instagram and Twitter. It's PETEGIOVINE, Instagram, Twitter, and, Facebook me, whatever. But go to hairandteeth.com to follow me and all that shit.
Well, thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it. And please leave a 5-star review. We'll be back next week. That's a wrap.
Wrap it up.